Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unleashing Potentials podcast. Today's special guest is Dominique. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome. Welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you and for us to hear your story and journey.
Okay.
Hmm.
Where do I begin?
Anywhere, let's
I
start from the beginning. What do you do
okay.
and how do you do it?
Okay. I multitask several different things.
Mhm.
I'm a massage practitioner, so I'm in the STEM field. I am a freelance journalist. I've been doing that for over a decade. I'm an award-winning author. So I have two books, including the new collaborative book I just did. It's called The Whole Entrepreneur.
Mhm.
And then I am a rising orator as well. So as you can see, I have a lot going on. I'm originally from New York City, but currently reside in Virginia Beach, the Hampton Roads area. I've been practicing massage therapy for 4 years. I
Mhm.
love what I do. I have very divergent careers, but allows me to impact others and inspire others with my hands, with my words.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Wow, I love that. You do everything. Wow.
Trust me, not everything. I'm just gonna say just enough that I
Yeah,
do.
yeah. So did you always wanted to do what you're doing right now?
Anything editorial writing, absolutely. Massages came later, a later time in my life.
Hmm.
Writing was just such a central component for me from the time I was a child. I wrote my first piece of writing to my mom. I was like maybe 8, 9 years old, and the content was very mature. Of course, the handwriting was a kid, but the content was very mature. And that's when I think my mom realized I had something in my hands. And I was
Mhm.
kind of like going through some growing pains as a child. And
Mhm.
you can't really do too much as a child. You really don't have much say.
Mhm.
So that's when writing became my vehicle to express my feelings and my concerns. It was my control. And as a
Mhm.
kid, that was big for me because I was obviously, as a kid, you don't have control. And then as a journalist, I saw BET's Teen Summit with Ananda Lewis and Gabrielle Dennis, and
Mhm.
that changed my life. I said,
Wow.
I want to be a journalist. I didn't want to be video,
Mhm.
but I wanted to be a print journalist because I knew words have power, and I was able to, tell stories through my articles. And then massage therapy came when I was 17. My parents wanted to do something different other than just give us awards and plaques and all different kind of stuff, just to do something different other than the ordinary.
Mhm.
So my mother and my pops, they took us to a spa in Manhattan called Serenity. And when I first received my massage, I was in heaven. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like it became my self-care.
Mhm.
So it wasn't until my beloved grandmother, God bless her soul, my lady Eloise,
Mhm.
told me I was gonna do something else with my hands. And I was like, Grandma, I'm writing. That's whenever she said, you heard what I said, girl. So I was like, okay, this woman is serious. She said, you're gonna have another career using your hands.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's like, I didn't tell you to choose. I just said you're gonna have another career using your hands. And everybody will make fun of me, the sturdiness of my hands and how they were so heavy. And my grandmother was like, okay, they're gonna help people one day.
Mhm.
So she didn't get to live to see, but after graduating from 2 degrees, and she said that to me in 17, I didn't go back to school for massage, so I was like maybe 25, 26. So that's how the massage part of it came. It was from
Wow.
her.
Do you still massage right now?
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Right before you called me, I just did a house call.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have a business or is it like a home business?
Okay, so I'm a lead therapist. They call it senior therapist, a master therapist at a med spa in Virginia Beach. So I
Oh.
do that, and then I do a couple of house calls through partnerships with Zeal and Soothe. So I do that as well. I'm licensed in my hometown, New York State. So whenever I get to visit, I can massage in New York, and of course, I'm licensed in Virginia.
Wow, that's awesome. Do you
Mhm.
also teach?
I don't teach yet. My mom was trying to get me to go in the teaching realm because she's an educator herself. She's been in this She's been teaching for the Board of Education for New York State 29 years. She just hit 29. She's going to retire a year and a half. So, teaching is kind of, you absorb it, even though you think you're trying to run away from it. But even though I may not teach in a classroom, I inform my clients. So that's when the teaching and the anatomy and all the scientific aspects of massage therapy, the evidence-based practice comes into that by informing your clients. But she is determined to see me in the classroom teaching.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, so when you write, what is your source of inspiration?
I would say my
Where do you
scenery.
go? Where do you
My
go?
scene, my scenery,
Yeah.
and my music.
Oh, wow.
I have to have music. I
Mm-hmm.
have to have a distraction to keep me writing.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I've always been that way. I cannot work in silence. Some people could work in silence. I can't do that. That drives me crazy. I have to have some type of melody, musical composition in front of me, something. So that's one of my biggest inspirations, sound.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really
Mm-hmm.
cool. What was your favorite subject in school?
Glad you asked. Along with English, I
Yeah.
was a language was my favorite.
Mm.
Math was my favorite. That's why everybody thought I was going to have a career in math. And I don't have a career in math, but I have a career in STEM. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, it's weird because I was always known as the magician in math, the way I can manipulate numbers.
Wow.
And I had a very good friend in high school who was like, sis, won't you do something with math? Won't you do? I was like, I don't love it enough
Yeah.
to look at numbers every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think maybe from the time I was in the fourth grade, we had a very good math coach in New York, and she was like, to my mom, your daughter is a beast in math. It's crazy. Like I
Wow.
never seen a student so tenacious in this subject ever. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so I think if I wasn't doing what I'm doing, maybe a career in math
Oh,
affiliated with
wow.
math.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm allergic to math. I don't do it. It's so bad. Like I don't know what happens to my brain or I
it, it
can't.
it's just crazy, like the numbers, the algorithms, the equations. So the funny thing
Yeah.
is, so when you're hearing impaired as a child, so I was hearing impaired for the first 4 years, and then when you're in school, you have speech related services. So I had extensive speech because I was hearing impaired.
Oh.
So in the 11th grade, they had to test me on
Mhm.
where I was at in math and reading. So the reading, I was just at 11th grade level. I was at 11th grade level. My math was a second year in college.
What?
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah,
so
in 11th
cool.
grade. Yeah, in 11th grade, my math was a second year in college. And then my mother's the tutor in the family, and she was like, "But I think you need to tutor your cousin's Elijah. I don't understand this high school math." I said, "Mommy, I have not touched high school math in over a decade." Like, she's like, "I'm telling you, you're gonna pick it up. It's like riding a bike."
Yeah.
So she was right. I picked it up as I was riding the bike, and my cousin passed his regents.
I was
Yeah.
trying to help my daughter with math, last week, and I'm like,
It's different though. The math is different from when I was
yeah,
coming up, and I graduated from high school 15 years ago, so I can imagine the math now.
I'm like, what kind of stuff they're
Mm-hmm.
teaching those kids? Because
Yeah.
there's negative numbers, and then there's
Mm-hmm.
letters, there's plus equals. I'm like, no,
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
get it. But yeah, that's so cool though. Thank you for sharing. Um,
That's a special nugget a lot of people really don't know. So you were one of the first people to ask me
oh,
that kind of question. Unless you're in-house and you know me personally, that's nothing
yeah.
I really don't make up
Oh,
too
yeah.
much.
Yeah, maybe you'll get some people who wants you to tutor them.
No, I'm good. I'm good. My
Yeah.
tutoring days, like it was a one-time thing. Because my cousin, he was getting ready to ask me to tutor a whole bunch of high school students. I said, no, 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 no. It's a one-time thing. It's for you. I
Yeah.
just, no.
Yeah.
You know how you good at something, but you don't really like it? That's
Mm.
I like math, but not in the intensity to do it on an everyday basis.
Yeah, you like it, but you're not in love with it. If that
Yes.
makes
I
sense.
don't value it. See how you can like something,
Yeah.
but you don't value it. Like massage therapy, I value. Like
Mm.
massage, I value. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, what are some of the benefits that someone can get from getting massage therapy? And you can reverse that question. What do you get from helping people with massage
Okay.
therapy?
Well, I'm gonna break it down in two parts. Of course, the circulation, the improving the muscle tone,
Mhm,
just enhancing their mood,
mhm,
relaxation is
mhm,
excellent for injuries, preventing injuries, curing injuries, making their muscles more reliable, more pliable, um, improving their range of motion. It's at least 25 different benefits of why people get massages. Some people get massages as a form of their self-care. I think personally, people need to treat massages like your body tune-up. They're saying that we can go and get a car, get it checked, get evaluated, get the oil changed. You have to treat your body the same way. If
yeah.
you can't get massages monthly, you should be getting them 4 times a year. You have to treat your body like a tune-up. So
Yeah.
that's what I would tell a client. And then it's such a gratifying experience for me to
Mhm.
help people with their stress. And that it reminds me that I have to cope with my own stress to relieve other people's stress.
Yeah.
Because as much as I love the field, sometimes it can be very draining
Mhm,
because you're dealing with energies, you're dealing with intimacy. Like that's very intimate. When somebody's on your table for a large duration of time,
mhm,
that's very vulnerable. That's a very intimate space. You don't know what energies are carrying and going. Energy is never deleted. It is always transferred.
mm,
So it can be a lot. But
mhm,
I love what I do. I love when I get to inform others. I love massaging the areas that they think they were intense and they were tense. That's my best part to me.
yeah.
Massaging areas that people think, oh yeah, I'm good. And then my touch is like, I didn't know. No, I was hurting in that area.
Mhm.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I love downgrading the military men ego when they say I can handle tough pressure, and then they get on the table and squirm like a baby. So
Yeah.
that's another aspect I love. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I go see massage therapists. I don't know, there's so many names. Chiropractor,
Mm-hmm.
so many other names. I go to survive, not for pleasure, people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
Yes.
haven't lived with chronic pain. I'm telling you, it's my entire skeletal system, my bones, the muscles. I go to get revived to
That is
life.
medicine. I tell people it's a complementary form of medicine. Massage therapy is an art, is a skill, is a science, is a study.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I remember laying on the table. She's a tiny lady, but she's strong, man. She touched something on my shoulder, and it felt like something popped and traveled through
Yeah.
my head and spine.
Hmm.
I'm like, I need
It's
a.
amazing how the body is so interconnected. And I'm a short woman as well. So when the guys they see me like, can she really give me the pressure I'm looking for? Maybe 10, 15 minutes into the table. Ow! Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I say you can't judge a book by its cover. And then I had a very good professor, Kara Nagel. She said, whatever you feel in your heart is delivered in your hands. So you have to go into this industry loving it,
Mhm.
because if you don't, it's going to show in your performance. If you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to last in the field within 5 years
Mm.
or 5 years max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. You were talking about energy. How
Hmm.
do you clean energies that are not yours?
Um, I sit in my car after a long day of work, and that music,
Oh, music.
music
Yeah.
is such a universal high for me. It's
Yeah.
always been from the time I was a kid.
Yeah.
Listening to my grandmother's classics and my
Mhm,
grandfather's classics to listen to my mother play Marvin Gaye Saturday morning cleaning. It
mhm,
is such a universal high for me. Sometimes speaking to family members on the phone to clear the day. Um, just not bring that energy
mhm,
into the
mhm.
home.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love music. I always tell people be careful what kind of music you put around me
Yes.
Because
Yes.
we've been dancing to Wednesday, doing the whole shoulder thing. Kids are watching. I like, and I'm cooking. I have the spoon in my hand and I'm vacuuming and I
Exactly.
love it.
It's just something with us with cooking and
Oh,
cleaning.
yeah, yeah.
And that's all I saw growing up. Like we got up Saturday morning, my mother was cleaning,
Mhm,
she made us breakfast, but it was like a Tectonic stereo with the 5 CDs back in the day.
mhm.
And she would really play those records. And then I go to my grandparents' house, they'll have the radio above the kitchen sink and they'll play their classics. So it was just, music was so prevalent in my family. You'll think, how people that have a family with the people of gift of musicians, we
Yeah.
were the musicians. We
Mhm,
were the music pleasers or the music gatherers
yeah.
because it was played so much in my house. I remember my aunt Becky used to call me, Nikki, did you hear? Nikki Nack, did you hear the new CD, the new
Yeah.
song? Nikki Nick, did you hear? Da, 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 da. Because it kind of just kept us,
Yeah.
you know, motivated. It kind of just kept us away from what we were dealing with. It kind of just gave us this safe haven, this gateway
Yeah.
to help us deal whatever we needed to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I possibly know all the Bob Marley songs because I grew up with my dad played them all the time.
Mm,
I don't know what they're called in English. They're the flat disc you put and it
mm.
spins.
The CD players.
Yeah, yeah, they're big.
Oh,
Yeah.
the
They're
oh
some kind of record thing. It's
yeah, I know what you're
huge
talking about.
circles.
The
And then
record play, like the
yeah, yeah, it's okay. I know you get me. It's okay. Sometimes
yes,
the
I get
words
it.
don't come, but yeah. I grew up listening to those.
And
What are some of
I grew up with Bar Marley too.
yeah,
The
yeah.
greatest hits album, the Exodus, where he's on the cover and all that blue.
I'm
um
telling you, I don't smoke weed or anything, but he really does chill me out.
yes, he chill. I'm telling you, chill a lot of people out, and that's the real reggae. Like that's the
Mm,
old school reggae. And my heritage is Bajan and St. Thomas. My great grandparents are from Barbados and St. Thomas. So we played a little bit of Caribbean in the house.
yeah.
And Bob Marley was one of those for sure.
Hmm.
Bob Marley, Gregory Isaacs, Patra.
Yeah.
Patra before there was a Spice
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Love and Hip Hop, there was Patra.
Yeah.
Patra was so beautiful to me, especially when she wore braids.
Hmm.
That woman is the woman. That's the reason why I love braids. Even though I don't have any hair anymore, but she was the woman
Hmm.
that made me fall in love with braids because how she used to rock her braids. Patra.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was thinking of what's her name? She sang with Wyclef Jean. He's from Haiti. That's where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
Her
Lauren Hill.
yes. I think that's her
Yes,
name. They
Lauren Hill.
sang together. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, what are some of your favorite musics?
I'm an R&B and hip hop. I love all music. I have a favorite artist from every genre, but I love R&B and hip hop. And I love my old school R&B. I love the OJs, the Marvin Gaye, the Teddy Pendergrass, the
Mhm,
Spinners, Sly and Family Stone.
mhm,
That's all because of my grandparents and my mom. My mother was my introduction to classic R&B, and that was
mhm.
Marvin Gaye. That's why I'm such a big Marvin Gaye fan to this day.
Yeah, yeah.
I always said in another life, that man was my husband in another life
Oh,
because
wow.
he was so suave and
Yeah.
sophisticated and
Mhm.
charming, and then could sing, and then can sing.
Yeah, yeah. And I love Celine Dion. I grew up listening to her too.
Yes, I
English,
love Celine
French.
Dion.
I can
I
sing most of her.
love Celine Dion.
Yeah, I
I
sing
love,
most of them. Yeah.
I love Deborah Cox from Canada.
Hmm.
Like I told you before, Shania Twain is my favorite country singer.
Yeah.
Yes, so I love her. And then my favorite pop singer is Celine Dion. I started watching her from VH because the networks that we have now, like VH1, MTV, they were
Mhm.
music channels at one point. Believe it or not, before
Really?
reality TV hit in, they
Oh.
were actually music channels where they played music videos and
Hmm.
music shows and music documentaries.
Hmm.
And that was another way for me to catch up on the latest trends of music. And that's how I really started following Celine Dion.
So you've met Drake.
Yes.
My heart almost fell on the table when you told me that. I'm like, girl, you just came and teased me with that. Give him my number.
I love teasing everybody with that
I
though.
don't know. I don't know if he's single or not, but hey. Wow. I'm in Canada. I know he's in Canada too. Hopefully he watches this. You used to
Oh,
call
that
me.
would be a treat. That would be a treat.
That
But if he's listening, maybe he'll remember this moment. This was January 2007.
Mhm,
I was a junior in high school in New York City,
mhm,
and my editor-in-chief, Onisha Ping, she's like this award-winning journalist. She's Emmy-winning. She's phenomenal. But she was like on top of her game then in high school.
mhm,
And she challenged us to look a little bit further than student journalism in the high school realm, like the
mhm,
physical realms of the high school. So she started looking into additional opportunities that would benefit us to be beneficial to high school journalists. So that's how I got nominated for Princeton University's summer journalism program, and then this opportunity with Casa Degrassi.
mhm.
So out of all the high schools in New York City, my high school, Arizona Murrow, we were chosen to attend a TV workshop at MTV Studios where we could meet four of the cast members from Degrassi,
Mhm.
the next generation, and Drake was one of them. This is when he was going by Aubrey Graham yet. This wasn't when he was Drake now.
Yeah.
And he was 17 on the show, but he was 20. So he was kind of like in the early stages of his rap career. So
Mm.
when we got there, when I tell you starstruck, that was me. 16. I'm like, oh my God. And meeting Daniel Clark that played Sean
Mhm.
on Degrassi, that was one of my other crushes, one of my other Canadian characters that I loved on the show. So
Yeah.
meeting these two hot guys from Canada, you're a teenager, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. And I just
Yeah.
kept thanking my editor for this opportunity. So it was me, her, and two other of my high school journalism colleagues. All right, it's over. We interviewed. She's like, no, you're gonna write the story with me. I said,
Yeah.
excuse me? So do what? She's like,
Yeah.
she didn't ask me. She
Yeah.
told me
Yeah.
that I was gonna write the story with her. I was like, okay.
Wow. All
Yeah,
right.
that was my first celebrity interview.
Wow.
And he was so charming and
Yeah.
suave and just,
Yeah.
yeah. I can imagine him now. This is 2007. So I can imagine how he is 16 years later.
Wow. Wow, that's an amazing experience. I
Mhm.
went to a Rick Ross concert. I saw him from a distance, but
Mhm.
yeah, he came to the city where I'm in. We actually do get quite a bit of celebrities from
Mhm.
the States, particularly where I am.
Oh,
Who
wow.
knows why? I love it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that was my first celebrity interview. I was too high. I was like, oh my God.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then since then you've done a bunch of other
Yeah.
wow. Wow. You've covered quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Covered
yeah.
more than 50 concert reviews. I've interviewed more than 100 people in American culture, from singers to musicians to sports figures to political figures. So that's why I say more than 100. I
Mhm.
think I kind of lost count after 100. Yeah.
Wow. Um, I don't know what it's like to be a journalist, but talking about politics, how was that?
Well, politics is not it was never my beat
Mm,
as a journalist. I've done maybe a story here and there. My
yeah.
beats were more education, lifestyle, celebrity, entertainment, and now health, because I am a
Mm.
massage practitioner.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Mhm.
Wow. Tell me more about your two books.
Well, my first book is about a biography on John B., the R&B sensation John B. He
Mhm.
was like our Tina Marie of the 90s. It's called John B. Are You Still Down? It's available on Amazon right now. It's going on 3 years.
Yeah.
since I published the book. And I just wanted to just honor an artist that I loved, that I interviewed.
Yeah.
He was one of my crushes after Usher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usher's is a gold mine. And then John B was one of those for me as a kid. And I just fell in love with his voice when
Yeah.
he was on the television show, All That. That's when he was wearing all black.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with who he was. And
Mm.
he was the last person to work with the late Tupac Shakur, to physically work in the studio. Everybody over the years have worked with Tupac's voice, but he was the last person to work with Tupac. That was amazing to me.
That's remarkable. And is
Mm-hmm.
that something you shared in the book?
Yes. I
Okay.
shared a lot of nuggets in the book that people don't know about.
Uh-oh.
And then I shared in the beginning just my affiliation, my love, and my passion for an artist that made it easier for more Caucasian men to have a career in R&B, like Robin Thicke, like Justin Timberlake,
Yeah.
Justin Bieber,
Yeah.
because John B he had it really rough
Mm.
back in the 90s. A lot of people were calling him a wigger.
Yeah.
He want to be like Babyface. He
Mm-hmm.
had to break a lot of barriers to be respected in the African American culture, and he did that. So that's what I said. He made it easier
Mm-hmm.
for Justin Timberlake to have a collaboration with Tupac Shakur.
Yeah.
He made it easier for Robin Thicke to have a collaboration with Lil Wayne, because it was that collaboration with Tupac and John B.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the first Caucasian guy to work with Jay-Z and Nas.
Wow. That blows my mind.
Mm-hmm. So
Wow.
that's the first book. And then the second book is a collaboration project that we just released earlier this month. It was about a 6-month project, maybe six and a half when you really think about it. Myself and 19 other authors, with the coaching from our book extraordinaire to
Mm-hmm.
read Vision Avant.
Mm-hmm.
And we call it the whole entrepreneur. We're just giving you tips and strategies on how to navigate business, career, wellness, life
Yeah.
from our personal experiences, and then just allowing people to learn from us, so they don't have to repeat the same mistakes that they made, or don't be afraid to ask for help. So it can be an excellent guide for any realm of your life, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, or you know someone that's an entrepreneur, or we all just have careers,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of us are entrepreneurs after the 9 to 5. Some people just, their clock doesn't stop
Mm-hmm.
because they clocked out of their 9 to 5, and we talk about all those elements
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about Suicide Awareness Month. Was it this
Mm-hmm.
month or last month? I can't
Last month.
remember. Last month. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do any type of work in that field or experience
Um,
against it?
I was on a panel discussion with Angela Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Angela. She told me to be on this
Hey,
panel.
I love her.
And another, I think it was like 3 other people that were like a
Mm-hmm.
pastor, mental health therapist. And
Mm-hmm.
then I just completed an article on suicide for one of the other publications I write for,
Yeah.
called Preferred Health Magazine. And when I was asked to be on a panel discussion about it, it just kind of hit home, because one of my dear, 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 dear close classmates in high school, his name was David Robinson.
Mm.
He passed away like maybe a year after he graduated from high school from suicide.
Wow.
And when you saw this kid, he was so energetic,
Mm-hmm.
so comical,
Mm-hmm.
just you just melted when you saw his smile. Like,
Yeah.
that's how beautiful he was. And for somebody to take their own life, it just shows that, comedy and laughter sometimes is a mask for people. I even look at the television, the MC that was on the Ellen show
Mm-hmm.
that passed away
Oh,
last
yeah.
year.
Yeah. 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 I know her. I remember his name. I can't pull it out, but
And
I know.
then and then a lot of my favorite singers that passed away from suicide. Phyllis Hyman
Yeah.
wrote a suicide letter
Wow.
before she checked out. Robbie Williams, one of my favorite comedians, passed away. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
then sometimes, we have attempted suicide
Mm-hmm.
as well. And it's not successful, but it makes you think, what is going on with that person's psychological realms of them to go into suicide. And from my years of study and just being a journalist, depression is the leading cause when it's untreated why people go into suicide.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I've attempted, and it's something I've always shared.
Mhm.
And I'm happy it didn't work because I have a mission here. I'm not ready. I'm not
Mhm.
going till I'm all gray and wrinkled. So
That's right. I was just telling this to somebody the other day.
Mhm.
Getting older is a gift.
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody doesn't get older.
Mm.
So we have to keep in mind as we seasoned, I don't like saying getting older, as we seasoned
Yeah.
and mature, it's a gift
Yes. Yes, it is.
that should not be taken lightly. So the fact that you have an opportunity to grow,
Mhm.
because when something doesn't change, it doesn't grow. So if you have that opportunity to grow
Mhm.
and live out some of the catastrophe
Mhm.
that the world has to bring and balance it with the blissful moments,
Mm.
and it's a blessing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't think people took it that way.
Mm.
Circumstances, life,
Mhm.
and everybody was like, "Oh, that person is so selfish," and but you don't know what they were going through
No. Yeah.
behind the scenes. And then another statistic that really made me want to get on the show: 11 minutes somebody committed suicide. So 5 people
Mhm.
in an hour committed suicide. 5 people in an hour
Wow.
commit suicide.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. Mind blowing. And yeah, I think it's something we need to keep talking about as a whole, as communities. And
Yes.
um because I've been on both sides, here's what I can say is that some people are very quick to judge and to find the reason behind their reason.
Mm-hmm.
When really, I think when they think that way, as you said, depression leads to that. It is
Mm-hmm.
a cry for help. It's not a sign
Mm-hmm.
of weakness.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst thing that anyone can do is make those who've attempted to feel guilty.
Exactly.
You have it good. You have family, you have friends, you have a good job, you have money. So, because those things, we're not taking them with us. They're
No,
not.
not at all. That's what I say. You can't take those with you. I promise you.
Yeah,
If I was worth a trillionaire, I would be giving away so much money. It's ridiculous because I can't take it with me.
yeah, yeah,
I can't take it with me. This look at Kay Spade. She committed suicide.
yeah.
And his name was Switch, by the way. That's the nickname for the
Twitch,
guy that, yeah.
Twitch. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And it just shows the reality of what is. And for people to, I think there's resources. I think there
Mhm.
should be more.
Absolutely.
I think there should be a bit less judgment, because it's through those judgments that we at times do lose people, if I may put it that way.
Mhm.
We
Absolutely.
don't listen to people, right?
Oh, they just tell them,
Yeah,
oh, stop with that foolishness. You trying to,
yeah, yeah.
it's therapy. They say you go to church. And I'm all,
Oh.
prayer. I'm all for prayer
Yeah.
and having your faith with God. Trust me.
Mhm.
Because a few months ago, I wasn't even supposed to be here. I almost died in a car accident. So trust me, when you can come out of a car accident with no injuries, the
Mm,
airbag doesn't even touch your face. So I get it.
yeah.
But then God also sends people to help you.
Hmm.
And that's when therapy comes in. That's when a counselor comes in.
Yeah.
Whatever counseling that can help you guide or somebody else's personal experiences
Hmm.
to help people. One of my favorite singer of all time, Mary J. Blige,
Mm, yeah.
talks about it bluntly, suicide.
Hmm. Hmm.
But at the same time, you know how much strength that is to go out and sing when
Yeah.
you're all drugged up and you're
Yeah.
all high on stage.
Hmm.
You got to give a show.
Yeah.
And when the lights come out, you feel empty.
Hmm. Hmm.
That is not an easy thing to do.
No.
Yes, you're selling records and everybody loves your music,
Yeah.
but you're empty.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is a horrible
It
place.
is. It is. Yeah.
I've
Especially.
had my days, but I thank God that I haven't got there, but it allows me to understand
Hmm.
how people get there, especially now as a massage practitioner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah. And it impacts those who are famous or not famous. Obviously, if
Yeah,
they're in the spotlight, they're gonna go to them first.
they have more scrutiny.
Yeah, and I do find that a lot of famous people, they're regular people, but they get criticized for the smallest thing. Oh, they didn't floss that day and they're buying this and that, and
Mm-hmm.
they have so much pressure on them,
Yeah.
right? So much pressure. Yeah, yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about as we coming close to wrap up?
No, I'm just thankful that I was able to share my story and share
Mm,
my experiences. And I just want people to, look, if they ever had a chance to look at my bio, just follow me on social media, that it doesn't matter where you come from.
mm,
It doesn't matter where you're at in your life.
mm,
You can do something if you really, really want it,
yeah.
but don't expect anybody to give it to you. And I think that's the problem in my generation today. Everybody feels entitled. And
Mm-hmm.
that is the wrong attitude to have. Anything in this world that you want, you got to work for it. Nobody owes you nothing.
Yeah.
And people have to stop looking at other people's successes,
Mm-hmm.
because some people make it look good when they going through stuff themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you have to start being thankful for what you do have
Mm-hmm.
when you feel like you don't have, because it could be worse. And the more you are thankful for what you do have,
Mm-hmm.
the more abundance you will see in your life.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
You're
Two
welcome.
questions for you. What is
Sure.
the meaning of life for you?
That each time I wake up, I have an opportunity to fulfill my purpose.
Mm,
I have an opportunity to display my. I have the opportunity to be a sweet fragrance in someone's life. I
mm,
have the opportunity to inspire others through
mm,
my words, through my hands, through my demeanor, my presentation, my love for God. And lastly, each time I get up, that means there's more God want me to do.
mm. Ooh, I love that. I love it. Where can my listeners find you and support the work that you're doing?
You can find me on various channels, social media, Instagram, Dom Carson 90, my massage Instagram, D Carson LMT, my LinkedIn, Dominique M. Carson. If you want to look at my portfolio, dominiquecarson.contently.com, and my facebook.com/DMC922.
Mhm. Awesome. Well, Dominic, thank you so much for your time. I have enjoyed this conversation so much, and the time
Likewise.
just went by a
Yes,
little
it
too
did.
quick.
It show you time waits for no one.
Yeah,
Time waits for nobody.
yeah, yeah, I agree. Well, thank you so much for your time and for everything that you do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.